3 women inside the same home. No signs of forced entry. No clear struggle. And by morning, they were gone. Every single one of them. And to this day, no one knows exactly what happened. This episode contains discussions of violence and may be disturbing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to What's Done in the Dark, where every secret casts a shadow. I'm Tiara, your guide into true crime, spooky, and the unexplained. Tonight's story is one that feels almost impossible because 3 people don't just disappear without a trace. Today we're talking about the Springfield Three. On June 7th, 1992, in Springfield, Missouri, 3 women were inside a home on East Delmar Street. Sherrill Levitt, her daughter, Suzanne Streeter, and Suzanne's friend, Stacy McCall. Suzanne and Stacy had just graduated from Kickapoo High School. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, a milestone, a sleepover. Sherrill was home that night as well. Everything appeared routine. Nothing unusual. Nothing that would suggest this would be the last time they were seen. Earlier that evening, Suzanne and Stacy had been out celebrating graduation. They had originally planned to stay at a friend's house, but plans changed. And instead, they returned to Suzanne's home sometime after 2 a.m. They arrived at the house on East Delmar Street. That moment would become the last confirmed sighting of all 3 women. By the afternoon of June 8th, friends began to worry. When they arrived at the home, the first thing they noticed was how normal everything looked. Inside the house, personal belongings were still there. Sherrill's purse, Suzanne's clothes, car keys, everything you would expect someone to take if they were leaving was still inside, which made one thing clear. They hadn't planned to go anywhere. Outside the home, the porch light had been broken, the glass shattered. But instead of leaving it shattered, someone had swept it up. That detail stood out because it didn't feel like panic. It felt like control. Inside the house, there were no signs of forced entry. There were no signs of a struggle. No indication that anything violent had taken place. And that's what made it unsettling. Because whatever happened didn't leave behind the kind of evidence you would expect. There was also another detail that stood out. a voicemail left on the home's answering machine, one that was described as unusual. But before investigators could fully analyze it, it was accidentally erased. And with it, whatever information it may have held was lost. The family dog was inside the home, alive, unharmed, and moving freely, which meant whoever had been there had either been let in or hadn't caused alarm. And that detail raised an important question. Did the victims know the person responsible? Investigators also noted something else. All three women's beds appeared to be slept in, which meant whatever happened likely took place overnight, while they were inside the home, while everything was quiet, and possibly while they were unaware. There were no signs of a robbery, no valuables missing, no clear motive, which made the situation even more difficult to understand. Because without a reason, it becomes harder to determine what kind of person would be responsible. Authorities began trying to piece together what had happened. Was it someone they knew? Someone who had access? Or was it random? A situation that escalated without warning? There were theories, but no clear direction. Just a house full of unanswered questions. Over the years, many theories have been suggested. Some believe someone familiar to the victims is responsible, someone they trusted. Others believe this may have been a random encounter, something unexpected that turned into something far more serious. And then there are those that believe the truth may lie in the details that were overlooked early on, details that, once missed, can't always be recovered. Over the years, one name that has come up in connection to this case is Robert Craig Cox. At the time, he was known to be in the Springfield area, and he had a criminal record that raised serious concern. He made a statement that he knew what happened to the women, but that information was never confirmed, and no charges were ever filed in this case, which leaves that detail in the same place as many others, unresolved and without clear answers. What makes this case so unsettling is how complete this disappearance was. 3 people gone at the same time. No confirmed sightings, no answers, just silence, and a moment in time that no one has fully been able to explain. To this day, Sherrill Levitt, Suzanne Streeter, and Stacy McCall have never been found. No explanation, no resolution. Just a case that continues to leave people asking, what really happened inside that house. Some cases leave behind evidence. Some leave behind answers. And some leave behind nothing but silence. This is one of those cases where the absence of answers become the most unsettling detail. This has been What's Done in the Dark, where nothing stays in the dark for long. I'm Tiara, and I'll see you next week.